Jamal Niaz here at For the Love of Wrestling with the main man himself, Fandango. So many excited fans that have been meeting you this weekend, and great to catch up with so many old friends. We got Tyler Breeze there, Breezango reunited.
He's sitting right over there right now. I think when we're kind of halfway through this interview, we should get
She's trash talking.
Well, we should get him over here and kind of pick his brain. It's always great to get over to the UK and England. And this is where the Fandangoing really started, like you mentioned before. So
yeah.
I've always got a special place in my heart for the English fans over here.
We're catching you at a very exciting time in the industry and your career personally as well. You were in NXT earlier this month. You know, the WWE fans have been very excited to see you back on their screens. The partnership with WWE and TNA is so exciting. What was that experience like going back to NXT? Lots of old memories, right?
Yeah, it's surreal. You know, one day I'm back home just having dinner with my family, and then a few days later I'm back in the Performance Center, which I didn't think I would ever probably be back there. It's just seeing a bunch of old faces that I haven't seen in 4 or 5 years. And then just all of a sudden the Fandango music's hitting and people were going nuts. So it meant the world to me. You know, WWE was a huge part of my life for 15 years, and to be welcomed back not only by the company itself and the staff at NXT, but the fans in the arena. It was really moving for me, and be able to work with Lexis King was really cool too. He's a really he's got a bright future. He's got a really intriguing character. It's exciting to see. It's a really, like you said, it's a really cool time in the wrestling business.
Obviously, ideally, the fans would want to see you on NXT a lot more regularly. I'm sure you would like to be there a lot more regularly as well. If there were 4 or 5 guys that you've not worked with on the current NXT roster that you'd love to wrestle or have a program with, who would they be and why? You
know, there's this old gunslinger there that just kind of came back, who him and I have a lot of history, not only as friends, but kind of similar paths in the business with Sean Spears.
Right.
You know, I've known Sean for almost 20 years, and he's made a great name for himself in WWE, going off to other places to work, now back with NXT, him just coming back to TV last week. Love to work with him. I think he's a incredibly underrated talent who has a lot more to give to this business, and hopefully they're going to give him that platform. Like I just said, Lexis King, I think we could do a good program together. The tag team champs, I can never pronounce the name properly, so don't make me look an idiot. You know how to pronounce it, right?
Fraxium are awesome.
I always say it wrong. So
yeah.
I'd rather have you say it wrong than me.
Probably, I'd arguably say maybe the best tag team in the world right now, you know?
Unbelievable. Yeah, unbelievable. So Breeze and I think that would be a great tag team for us. I mean, just they've got a whole list, the guys and the girls. Just an unbelievable roster they have there. And it just the cross branding between NXT and TNA. It's just really interesting time as a wrestling fan to see some of these kind of dream matchups. Do you know what I'm saying? 100%.
Yeah. And when we, reflect back on that time when the Fandango character was at its peak, that must have been. Was it an emotional moment when you saw how well connected it became with the crowd? Because I remember you've said in previous interviews you weren't so sure how well the crowd were gonna, react to that character. Yeah. And you'd mentioned that program with Chris Jericho at WrestleMania. There was maybe potential awkwardness from your side, seeing how the fans would react to that as well. But the fans ended up loving you, and that awkwardness went away from the crowd's perspective, definitely.
It was just when they pitched the character to me, it's just such a far-fetched character. Like, how do I go about portraying this character? Who is this character? A ballroom dancer that's a wrestler? If you had a list of 1,000 characters, I probably wouldn't pick that one as the one that I wanted to portray. So it was very difficult to figure out how this character would translate into professional wrestling. Chris helped me out a lot, and working with Chris really helped develop that character, because you're in the ring and you're doing promos with a veteran who knows how to navigate through those waters that can be a little rocky when you have such a weird niche character. But yeah, I mean, when you're on the road 5 days a week and you're jumping TV to TV, town to town, Europe tour to Europe tour, you don't really have time to kind of just sit back and really embrace or indulge yourself in what the crowd is reacting to. Now that I'm kind of off the hamster wheel, you can kind of look back in retrospect and go, wow, that was really cool. But when you're on the road full time, it's just like, wow, the crowd was great last night. Then you go on to the next town, So, it was a difficult character to play. I think we did really well with it. And but like anything in acting and wrestling, you need to evolve your character. Yeah. Start coming up with something new. So you can only play a niche character like that for so long, and then eventually, evolving into something else with Breezango. Just constantly evolving, just like Jericho does,
Exactly, yeah. There's been many incarnations of him. Yeah. And what I've always wanted to know is, when you're in the position now where you can look back at the different incarnations of characters you played,
yeah.
When it's ones that you might not necessarily have been a huge fan of at the time, would you say there was a different level of motivation when you're approaching each character? Would you say maybe you're even more motivated to get the one that you're not as inspired by over?
Yeah, I think I'm not saying it's easier to play a tough guy that kicks everybody's ass, but I mean, it's definitely for me, or it was a lot more difficult to embrace kind of a flamboyant ballroom dancer and make that believable that character could beat somebody up. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like going back to your question, I feel like if you're given that hand of a cheerleader or a ballroom dancer, you can either kind of half-ass embrace it, and then the people kind of see through it, or you can kind of get a chip on your shoulder and totally dive into it. And so if it doesn't work out, at least you could say you tried your hardest and you embrace that fully. And I feel like I totally embraced the Fandango character for sure.
Do you feel like there's maybe the most excitement, the most energy we've had in modern wrestling right now? When you look at, the rivalry between WWE and AEW is enough to make it exciting anyway, because they're making both companies level up with that level of rivalry. And you add the Netflix deal on top of it, the sort of draft format we've got, kind of where transfers are happening, like Ricky Starks has appeared in WWE now, Pence has appeared in WWE. Yeah. Top guys from both companies are coming over. What's it like, being in the midst of this industry right now?
Well, I wish I was 15 years younger. The business is hot right now. We're in a boom, and it all trickles down from the top. And the top's WWE. Roman Reigns, Cody, Bloodline. They're doing good business. They're telling good stories, and that all comes from Triple H and the new regime. I mean, wrestling's good in WWE, and it trickles down. And TNA's hot, NXT's hot, and everyone else, seems to be doing pretty good. And the business is interesting. More eyes are on it. Everyone's upping their game. Right now, as a young talent, it's never been a better time to be in the business. To have the opportunities to go wrestle other places, getting more TV reps. It's unbelievable. If I was 25, there's no reason why that you can't become a star right now with all the opportunities in front of you. 100%. So it's just, like I said, I wish I was 15 years younger. So
who are some of the guys on the current main roster where you think you could have absolutely tore it up with?
I never got to work with Cody that much, but I respect his work. I really like I really like the way he tells stories. Randy, I've worked once or twice. I think he's the best wrestler in the world. Would have loved to work with Shawn. I know he's on the main roster, but Shawn Michaels is one of the reasons why I got into the business. There's the Usos. Just about everybody's awesome on WWE, so. And I love the faction I'm in TNA with the system. The guys that I broke in with, Eddie Edwards, Brian Myers, Moose, Lish. Right now I'm having the most fun I've had in the business because I'm in a group with some of my best friends in the business. So we're running roughshod on TNA right now and running roughshod on NXT. So it's a good time for the system, and it's a good time for TNA.
Do you think we can get to a point this year where we can see a TNA world title defended on a WWE main roster pay-per-view? Because, all it takes is Triple H to make that call. It can happen now. It can physically happen.
Well, I think the people want to see it. I think there's more eyes on all different products right now. Joe Henry in the Royal Rumble great reaction. Stay tuned. That's all you can do. And the anticipation, I feel, has never been better for the cross promotion.
Final one. Who would you say are your best friends you've made in the wrestling industry that have been there for you no matter what?
There's a list of them. A lot of my, not a lot, but a few of my best friends have passed away. Bray Wyatt, Brody Lee, Heath Slater sitting behind me, Jinder Mahal sitting over there, Joe Henning. There's some of my family I consider I've been on the road with, driving up and down the roads for years. I'm lucky enough to still be around some of these guys, and we go our separate ways when we land in our hometowns, but when you fly back in and see each other, it's just like you pick right up where you left off. So I won't miss falling down in the ring, but what I will miss about this business is the camaraderie between the brothers, so that's what I live for.
Well, I'm going to let you enjoy the rest of your day. I really appreciate your time.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, we couldn't get the reunion with Tyler. He's just left. He
didn't want anything to do with your interview, man.
Man.
He powdered out. Maybe you go chase him down.
He probably had enough of me from yesterday. But I appreciate it, man.